But I mean, that's only fair. Why did it say broadcast is live?
I have no idea. It's live though.
Waiting on the video to start. Hold on.
It says live.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's get ready to sucker!
Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of sun. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the color sun. Try to take it from me. Big time. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, inside the Power Hour here on this Monday, an interesting Monday that is Week 12 going into the playoffs. Officially is here in high school football. We've got a couple of volleyball teams, a few volleyball teams still alive as they make their way towards the regional championship. So congratulations to them. And of course, there was a game yesterday, or a few games, as a matter of fact, yesterday, that we'll hold court for today in just a little bit. But first, it's the national day that is, and it is National, let's go with National, this will be interesting, National Authors Day. So who is your favorite author of a book? Quinn?
None. I don't read. I don't even know an author.
This is starting out red hot.
Why are we doing a book question? Nobody on this panel reads except for
Okay,
you.
here's your other option. It's the Color the World Orange Day. What's your favorite sports team that has orange incorporated?
Syracuse. The other one sucks.
Syracuse.
William?
Oh, which one are we doing? The orange one?
Whichever one you'd like.
Orange, huh? Springfield Tigers.
Well played. Rob?
One of the worst logos and worst color schemes in the history of sports, period. And one of the toughest gigs on planet Earth, the Browns.
Paul?
Wow, orange. I mean, if I was going to go with I didn't even know a book. Like, I have a couple books. I've read some books, but I mean, there's like no favorite author I have of all time. So if I had to go with the color orange, the only color that pops into my head right now that I keep thinking about is burnt orange, which is Texas. But I don't like Texas. So, but when I hear orange, I hear burnt orange or the Orangemen out of Syracuse. So, but I could care less for either one of those teams. That's what I think of when I think of orange.
If I was going to do a book, though, I would do George R. Martin.
What does he write?
Game of Thrones.
Okay. I don't even know the authors. Is it bad that I don't know the authors of the few books that I read? It's probably bad.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I don't think I'm not the one that like, hey, I read a book because of this person wrote it. But I'm usually, if I'm going to read a book, it's like, hey, I came late to the party.
Do you know the directors of the movies that you watch? I don't.
The big names are
big guys
like Michael Bay or Spielberg or somebody like that.
George
Lucas. Yeah.
Those are the big ones. But Chris Nolan, like with the newer Batman movies, unbelievable.
Martin
Scorsese.
I watch a lot of his stuff too.
Who's the other guy that does like Kill Bill?
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Tarantino. Yeah.
See, I'm not good at that stuff.
I like a lot of his movies. Quentin Tarantino has some weird, crazy-ass movies, but they're fun, man. Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction.
I bet you like Pulp Fiction. Hey, Quinn, sorry for the misspelled name, but I like the shirt. Go Bearcats.
Sure. It's a free hoodie.
Aren't you chipper today?
I'm great.
You've actually been great all day long, and then you put the shtick on for the show. What's the matter?
It's a great day, and it's a free hoodie. I don't care. It was a free hoodie. You can turn that down.
Captain Complainer back there. Orange team, Paul. The Astros coming back in the series a little bit, 3-2.
Yeah, I knew last night it was either going to be a shit show or they were going to win it all because they were putting a kid on the mound to start the game with 4 starts in his career. I mean, that was the guy that they filled their starting position with for the pitcher who broke his leg. So I was like, this kid's either going to like be the hero or he was going to be just a big turd. And he only went 2 innings. And I mean, not for his fault. They didn't score a lot of the runs on his back, but they jumped out 4-0 with that grand slam in the first inning. And I'm like, well, this isn't good. I hated to be that guy, but I'm like, they got him too early. I was like, they got these runs too early. They're going to have to go through their bullpen and all these guys. And I mean, you weren't going to hold Houston down that long. I want them to go tomorrow and win the game and be done with it because all it's going to happen if they happen to like not win this is they went 3-1 last year in the NLCS and couldn't pull it off, and the Dodgers come back. Oh, they beat the Dodgers this year after being up 3-1. Now all of a sudden, you were 3-run in the World Series and you couldn't pull it off, and it's like, whatever. Everybody hates the Houston Astros.
Trust me when I tell you, you do not want to go to a Game 7.
No,
it's
not
in
at all.
Texas, is it not?
Yeah, they're back to Houston now for the last 2 games. And, Smoltz was on there. He's the color guy with Joe Buck, and he was talking about Dusty Baker. He's like, Dusty Baker, like he goes, he's in his back's against the wall, so he's just throwing everything at him. He's throwing everything in the garbage can, pun intended, at him to try to win a game. And he's like, at least for Snedeker, he's got, hey, you've got 3 games to win 1. So you can kind of play the cards a little bit and shuffle things around where Houston, like, listen, it's all or nothing. There is no tomorrow. So win today, and we'll see if that burns them tomorrow. So I don't know. I'm hoping for a win, obviously. So,
are you nervous?
I was more nervous last night because I was like, it was back and forth, and then when they went up 7-5, I'm like, It's possible. When it was 9 to 5, I just turned it off. I was like, it's over. I'm done. I'm going to sleep. Not worrying about it. They've won in Houston already once, so I think they can do it again, and I'm fine with that. So
I don't care one iota who wins it. Like I told you the other night,
will be out.
I'm glad they're both there. I really am. I do not like Dusty Baker, though. So if there's any reservation to the Astros, that's the only one I have. I was just rooting for some good baseball. Last night I enjoyed it because there was a lot of offense. I'm an offense guy. And the night before I told you I fell asleep. I was like, this stinks. I hate this stuff in the World Series. You want that pitching matchups? That's for like the wild card game. Like Game 7, I could get behind a 0-0 game going in the 9th. But like Game 5, you give me a 9-5 game, baby. Let's go. So, Billy, what do you think about the World Series so far?
It's been great. I watched a whole bunch of it. I think Atlanta's made really good choices at certain times. I think they pitched well at times. Had some key hits. It's kind of been a roller coaster, really, for the most part. Is you see the momentum just like a roller coaster ride. 1 minute the Astros have it, then bam, there comes Atlanta. And I said at the beginning of the World Series, I said Atlanta kind of has that the Nationals vibe from a couple of years ago. It's just their big stars out, got traded or hurt, and next thing you know, they're just figuring it out as they gone. And I like this team. I think this team's it's fun to watch.
Love hearing that. And you know baseball. You know good baseball. So it's when you say it's good baseball to watch, it's good baseball to watch. Rob, have you watched any of the World Series?
I think I said it. I can't remember if I said it before, but I'm honestly, and I'm not kidding when I say this, I'd be more concerned with whether or not call centers in the Philippines had indoor plumbing on who's at the World Series. I have no interest in baseball. If Cleveland is not playing in October, I couldn't tell you who's playing. My fiance said yesterday, she asked me, hey, can I ask you a question? She was being serious too. She's like, does anybody care that the World Series are on? And I said, honestly, maybe 2 people that I know. So I have no input for this whatsoever. So good luck to whoever wins, and whoever Dusty Baker is, because DJ doesn't like you, kiss off.
And that's how you have somebody's back. You don't even know who they are. He's like a 78-year-old man who wears gloves all the time for some reason that nobody knows.
I'm sure he's a horrible person.
He's a terrible person.
They asked him about the medical gloves.
Yeah.
And he said because he touches different things in the dugout, whether it's the handrails or anything else, and he's like he wears a mask because he's like, listen, I'm an older guy with health issues, and he goes, I don't want to get COVID, and I don't want to touch anything. But like when they were doing the interview, what's that?
He doesn't wear a mask. He gnaws on that toothpick like it's a baseball bat.
But he has a mask. Whenever he takes a toothpick out, he does put the mask on, so it's kind of funny. But when they were interviewing him and talking to him, he was wearing batting gloves. So he was wearing batting gloves as he was like, hey, like that's what gets me. Like, I mean, and Billy being a baseball coach as well, like it's one of the only sports where a coach / manager wears a uniform. Like other sports, you don't see that. You don't see a football coach wearing one on the sidelines, basketball coach, but baseball does. But I think there's a line to be drawn when you're a manager or a coach on what you're wearing, because like I imagine Billy's the same as myself. Like we'll wear the pants and maybe a jersey, but most likely it's a pullover or maybe a hoodie. But like you look at Dusty Baker, like he's got wristbands on his forearms. He's got, I mean, he looks like and I'll tell you, there was another guy, and speaking of kind of like the orange color, when I first started coaching, there was another coach. It was at Middle Ridge. Same thing. He was an older guy, and he used to like have the wristbands on. He wore batting gloves, and he was out there hitting BP to guys, and like he wore the metal cleats. And I was like, dude, we're not getting in. Like, you didn't put yourself on.
No, that's not true. That's not true, because I believe there was a coach that got in this year. Did he not?
In the NABF World Series.
That's what it was.
Yeah, you're right. I do remember being down there and having to find that out firsthand.
And then they came back down to Bobstein Park, and they were like, "Well, I'll just play."
Yeah. What? I was calling that game. I'm down there and they're handing me a roster, and he's like, I only got 8 guys and myself. And
they got different rules at Fitch than they do at Boxing Park. Right?
Yeah. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, there's 8 guys and myself, so the 9 of us are going to take the field. I'm like, I don't think you can do that. And thankfully, the 2 umpires were there, and I knew them both. And I'm like, guys, do you want to address this? And they're like, Coach, you got anybody else coming? He goes, no, but I just played. We were at Fitch. He goes, I played up there, and they let me. And I'm thinking to myself, this dude was 60-some years old and played first base. I said, I want to know if he batted. I want to know if this dude got it to the plate and God help the poor kid who had to throw to him, because if you gave up a hit to a 60-some-year-old dude, just get off the mound. Be like, all right, I'm done.
I'd have struck him out and then sit down.
Yeah.
Sit down.
I would hit him right between the numbers.
Just ear hold him or something.
Zip it, or I'll break your hip.
Yeah, that's the thing that bothers me about Dusty Baker is that he looks like he's ready to write himself in the lineup and go take the field, and it's like, dude. Just put your pants on, put a jacket on or a pullover, and sit there like all the other managers do, and stand on the railing and watch the game and manage it. But no, he looks like he's ready. He's sweating so much he needs to, towel himself off with his bandanas,
his sweatbands.
Yeah, sweatbands, armbands, bandanas, whatever the hell he ties around himself.
I don't think we're allowed to wear bandanas anymore in Major League Baseball.
We wear caps and sleeves in this league, son.
Usually we do. All right, let's get to some high school football, guys. A lot to unpack from Friday and Saturday night. Naturally, we didn't have a show on Saturday to recap Friday, but there was some big ones, and there was some upsets, at least on our side. I think everybody here picked Valley. No? I can't remember if they did or not.
I'm not sure, but I think that was the only game I missed.
Yes, Rob, that was the only game you and I both missed. We both were 20-something and 1, and they gave us the old hose job.
I guess I didn't realize how good Cuyahoga Heights was.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie and Quinn were the only 2 that picked Cuyahoga Heights.
Congrats, Quinn.
Thank you.
I think Jamie was just trying to catch up because we have a tie now of the top first place, and I think he was trying to just get back in the game with picking Cuyahoga. I mean, listen, I thought Valley Christian was going to pull that one off. I really did. I thought they had the horses to go take care of business, and their season came to an end abruptly up there.
What other teams, Paul, did we bid adieu on Friday? Anybody?
Yeah, we lost on Friday. Let me look here. Friday, Fitch won, Canfield won, Hubbard won, West Branch, Ursuline, Salem. We lost Beaver Local. Unfortunately, some of the things we said on Friday's show came true on Beaver Local, unfortunately. A long trek up to Glenville, and I mean, they got housed. It was bad.
That was bad. But I heard a rumor, and I even hate to bring this up. I heard a rumor that their locker room was broken into during the game.
Beaver Locals.
Yeah, and some stuff was taken.
I mean, the unfortunate thing is, and you hate to unfortunately, where they had to travel, it doesn't surprise me. They were traveling to the inner city of Cleveland. So, I mean, inner city Cleveland, big cities, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Detroit, you're going to go to these inner cities. There's some sketchy characters around there. So, and they figured they might have said they were taking advantage of these guys. They don't know who, it sucks if it's true, and if it really happened, then that's unfortunate. It's a black eye on Glenville / Collinwood,
right?
Collinwood. So, because that's where they played. And then our 2 regular season games was your Latonia and Latonia won and Columbiana won. So, good for them.
Saturday, we lost who?
On Saturday, hey, Gerard and Press, they went up there to Gilmore Academy and put on a show.
We lost Crestview.
South Range won, Garrettsville won. We did lose Crestview to Bel Air. Edison lost. We lost Western Reserve, and we lost United. But LeBray, JFK, and we lost Louisville too because Malvern beat them. So, but hey, it's kind of almost chalk, I guess, to an extent. Like some of the teams we thought were going to win won. But hey, in the state, a team that was every single team that was seeded like a 1 through a 16 won. There was a 16 that won. So
yeah. So if you were hoping that this 16 team format would go away, lights
doesn't
out.
look like it.
Lights out.
When every seed won a game somewhere, and that was a Division 4 school too. They were a 16 seed and they beat the 1. They went for 2. I mean, hey, what do you got to lose? You score, it's 22-21. You say, we're going for it, boys. We're a 16 seed. What do we got to lose? And they win. And matter of fact, it was the Edison team, not the Edison that we have, but it was the Edison team that earlier in the year, the state sent out a thing for every school to announce. It was at Edison Milan that the kid that went to school there was one of those Marines who was killed over in Afghanistan on that explosion. So that was that school who went there and won as a 16 seed.
I mean,
there was a 14 team that won too, I believe, in division. I think I'm almost positive it was Division 1.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. There's every single seed won.
Yeah.
So
okay.
16.
16, 15, 14,
It took
13,
me a second,
all
Rob, to try to figure out what he was trying to say. But yeah, that makes sense. Biggest surprise from the YSN family on a win or a loss on Friday or Saturday, Billy?
I think it was. I thought United would have put up a little bit more of a fight, so I'm going to go Brookfield. Brookfield's had a tough end of the regular season, and they really much just put it to United from Jump Street. I know that was a game that we were following pretty closely, just trying to see, who LeBray would face on Saturday. And we thought it would be Brookfield, but we didn't know that United just would, I don't want to say not show up, but Brookfield just looked really good.
Well, they got the kiss of death. They had the kiss of death there at their field, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure you guys can probably sort that out as to what I mean. Quinn, was there any surprises for you?
Probably Gerard. Just the way Gerard played. Offensively looked really good up in Gilmore. That's a long drive, I guess. Probably 40 minutes or so for Gerard. But no, they just looked really good, and I was impressed with that. And the other one for me was Lowville not putting up anything. That kind of surprised me.
That was a stunner for me too. That was gonna be mine. Rob, how about you? Who is your big surprise from this weekend?
I'm gonna go with the game that I missed. Valley Christian. I thought for sure that buddy Coach Hake would have had that team ready to go, and maybe he did. But maybe Cuyahoga Heights is actually that good of a football team. But other than that, I think the entire Friday and Saturday, high school football wise, played out pretty much how the majority of us thought it would. So.
Paul?
I mean, I'm gonna go with the two teams that we lost. Two of the teams that we lost, just getting pummeled, and I didn't see it coming. Beaver Local. I mean, I thought they were going to go up there and struggle. I did. Whether people believe it or not, I think a drive can really affect you. If you have to drive a long way on a bus, I think it drains you a little bit. But they didn't. I mean, not scoring. I mean, for a team that on the back half of the season really came together and was putting up points and was really doing some damage, that one surprised me. And I got to go with Louisville too. I would have thought for sure Louisville would have done something there, and Malvern just pulled the old Corso and said not so fast, and really just kind of took it to them. And I mean, to Rob's point, I guess we'll see how good Cuyahoga Heights is this week, because that winner that was going to get JFK. And now we'll see, is Cuyahoga Heights for real, or did they just have a good night and now JFK, are you for real? And are you going to take care of business? So,
well, I believe this is a rematch at some point, because I saw, I think it was Mike Morrow's dad that said, well, we meet again. So I don't know when. We'll have to look that up as to when they played, but it's a rematch of something sometime in the last 4 years at least. So that was actually my surprise. JFK, I expected them to win, but they put it on Saturday night. I mean, it was 55-0, something like that.
57.
57. Whew.
Yeah.
Whew. Wow. Welcome to JFK Vember.
It was really nice to see like the teams that we have high expectations for really just go right into the playoffs and just handle business. I don't think any of our top seeded teams or the teams we feel are teams that are going to go pretty far. They really didn't have any bumps in the road in their games. They just went to work, cashed in, and for the most part, looking around, the network over the weekend, it was a lot of these teams had their first teamers out by halftime or right after halftime. It was a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Get them out. Get the young guys in there. No JV games this week, so get them some playing time and get them some playoff experience.
And that's
JFK and Cuyahoga Heights met in 2019 in this exact same round 2 of the playoffs. And
I'm saying it right now too. I think JFK absolutely destroys that football team too.
JFK lost that game 33-14. And it's funny because if you go and look at 2020, the very next year, JFK was the number 1 team and Cuyahoga Heights wasn't even in the playoffs. They were down they were the 17th seed last year. They didn't even make the playoffs. And now in 2021, they're meeting again in round 2. So just a little flip though. JFK's at home, Cuyahoga Heights on the road.
I'm also going to let you know that they're messing with a pissed off rattlesnake, man. I mean, everybody knows what happened. And now, I guess, everybody knows because I didn't know until you just told me. But now everybody knows what happened. JFK, they've kept that one close to the vest for a couple of years now. And you think about that. That was besides the state championship, that was the last time they lost a game in the playoffs. So
this is my favorite. I know you said last week this is your favorite time or favorite week.
Yeah.
This to me is my favorite week because
12.
now it's the old school. It's what we all remember as the playoffs. It's you've earned it and you proved it. Now you're in it, and now we're going to get some really competitive football, I think.
And the thing is, if you look, I mean, not to jump too far ahead to our things for Friday, Cuyahoga Heights though, they've played some decent teams. All their losses came to teams with winning record. All their wins, except for Valley Christian, came against losing record teams. Except Berkshire, they played them week 1, who Berkshire was in the playoffs until Friday in D5, and they had to go to 2 overtimes to win that game. So all their wins have been against teams with a losing record. Anybody who had a good record weren't good.
Sometimes
that's what I'm saying.
And you execute, and then it's a snowball effect, and that happens, especially with 18, 17-year-olds out there.
JFK has this thing about them too, man. This time of the year, depending on, of course, the team, but once you start talking about what they're doing, and then you actually see what they're doing, I'm not even looking at their record right now. I think they make a run. If I was even going to predict a score right now for this Friday, I would go something along the lines of 40-10. I think they're going to annihilate this team.
Yeah, this is what they prepare themselves for all year. They play up predominantly the entire schedule. I mean, you play teams like Garrettsville, Garfield to prepare yourself for to make a deep run.
Yep.
And it's not just putting them on your schedule; it's competing with these teams. And nobody, to my knowledge, blew out JFK this year. There was maybe 1 or 2 convincing, but it was only a score, maybe 10 points total. That you sit there and you go, wow, okay, that team's for real. Because JFK to me is still the upper echelon of Division 7 in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, their 2 losses was to an 8-3 Mogadore, who's in D6. They lost by 2 points. And they lost to a Division 5 undefeated Garrettsville by 2 touchdowns, and that was week 3.
But you're looking, too, remember when JFK would play Howland?
Yeah.
Howland's D2? D3?
At that time, they were D2. When they played them for years, it was always week 10. They'd play them week 10, and it was a big game. They always played that game at Harding or Mollenkoff, and then they were Division 2 for years. So.
Think about that.
Kennedy will play anybody. They really will. They'll play anybody. For the most
I love it.
And they handed Southeast, the Division 5 team that's in the playoffs right now too, still playing. They handed them a 35-0 loss, and that's the only loss that Southeast has. So
that's what I mean. It's a different level that guys like that. I mean, you've got the majority of that state championship baseball team on this football team. A lot of these guys, if not the vast majority, because you think about it, there's only a few that they lost to graduation.
Well, didn't they only lose like one kid on the baseball team, and it was like
Cam.
Yeah, their big stud from last year. I think that's the only kid they lose off that team.
So when you get to the playoffs, and this is one of the things I want to talk about because we have to get to a break too. But I mean, like you can tell the teams that have been there before. You can tell the teams that are used to being in the playoffs because there's a switch that flips. You look at some of those scores. Like, it didn't surprise me that obviously Springfield won, but that's a different team when they hit the playoffs. They hit week 11. They know it's business. South Range, business. Business for Ursuline. Business. I mean, you go across West Branch, taking care of Billy, you hit it on the head. These teams understand. Once you punch your ticket, it's go time. And awkward pause.
Oh, we thought we were after that. Sorry, I think we all thought we were going to a break.
Sorry. We already had this one. All right. Let's take that break. Why don't we just do that? Because I made it awkward enough. Let's take a break. We'll be back after this on the Ysn Power Hour.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers, and we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley, Billy Mack. We got Quinn Pushkar. We got the Mushmeister and the Munson-meister down at the bottom of your screen. A couple Meisters down at the bottom. All right, guys. What were we going to talk about? I forget. I'm sorry.
We were talking high school football.
All right. I mean, South Range, Paul, you got a front row ticket for that one. That was just an absolute surgery, I guess is the best way to put it. Started off slow in that first drive, but once they got it going, there was no stopping them.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like you said, it was business as usual. You know, they showed up, they know what they needed to do. Starkey got a little nervous on his first kick, for the extra point, so he didn't make it. But I mean, he adjusted after that. I mean, for some of these guys, for some of them, this is their first time on the field for being in the playoffs. Starkey's a freshman kicker because we had Harley last year. There's some of these guys that they're going to work the little butterflies out early, but then after they did, it was just, hey, listen, we know what we're doing now. Take care of business. Do what they need to do. I mean, Rootstown had a nice quarterback. The kid who was the quarterback had a really good arm. He just couldn't find anybody. I mean, either overthrew him by 10 yards or, I mean, when he did complete the passes, guys were right there to stuff it up. So
I believe he's committed to play baseball as a pitcher.
Yeah, we didn't get to see him last year because we did play Rootstown in the regional championship game. They threw their other big stud. They had a kid who was like 6'4", and he's the one who threw. But that kid did rope the ball a couple times off of Miko, so he was you can tell he's a good athlete. But I mean, like we said, for the most part, a lot of these teams did what we expected them to do. Because it was week one, we kind of expected some of these teams to weed out the younger ones. This week looks awesome. I mean, there's 4 local matchups this week, and it's unfortunate that they meet so soon, but there's going to be some slobber knockers out there this coming week.
Billy, talk about LeBray. I mean, you and Quinn got to call that game. Business as usual there as well. Coach Armini taking care of business.
Yeah, it really wasn't much, hey, thanks for coming out type of deal. I mean, I think the first 4 possessions, touchdown for LeBray, and it was really quick and simple. I mean, it was just, hey, let's just hand the ball to Devin Carter, let Devin Carter do his thing. Aiden Stevens a couple here, getting Trayvon Drake on the outside a little bit and just kind of cleaning up some things. I think Coach Armini might have been a little frustrated with his defensive front for a little bit. And, then you started seeing some substitutions again and kind of getting things on track. And then the field was sloppy. I mean, LeBray does not play on a turf field, so, it was raining the entire game from start to finish. It rained there was no break in between. And at halftime it got heavy. So, It was a mess. It was playoff football. You know what I mean? It wasn't, they didn't have the luxury of playing on a turf field. So, but overall, it was what you thought. It was what you expected. It was typical LeBray. It was a 3-headed monster. It was defensively. They're still trying to find a guy to just step up. That's not Aiden Stevens or Trayvon Drake. And I think they're starting to come together at the right time defensively. I mean, that Brookfield game really set the tone for him. And, looking forward to this week with that matchup. It's hard to beat a team twice. And it really, really is hard. And when LeBray dominated that game, so they're going to have to come in with that same mentality and that same type of excitement because, Brookfield is not going to it's not going to be the same Brookfield team that came in there weeks 7 or 8.
Yeah, and I could tell by the text messages back and forth how excited you are about this matchup. You love Brookfield versus LeBray. You live for it. I mean, you have like legend of you and Jeff Betos calling this game. So that might be is Jeff booked for a game this week?
I don't know.
Maybe that's a sideline reporter gig for Betos this week down on the sidelines.
Do we want him on the sidelines though? He'll just be walking up to the coach during the game. Coach, what play you want to run here? What are we looking at here?
I'm going to tell you, I hope he's jealous because we're really blessed at LeBray and they take care of us so wonderfully. And we get there, we got everything we need. We got stats, we got this, we got that, and we're all on ourselves in a secluded area in a booth. This week, I brought a space heater, and then I grabbed anti-fog to put it on the windows. So because the room was going to be so warm, it was going to fog up. So we had like one window was super foggy, and then the window that had the camera was just crystal clear. I sprayed it. I had Rain X on the front part in case the rain came in, and then we had anti-fog on the inside. We were toasty in there. We were preparing for this week because we know what the temperatures are going to be mighty cold.
I want to see Betos on the sideline. I think the world deserves that. Quinn and Billy in the box and Betos on the sidelines. I think that would be that's our gift to the world.
He's got to wear that. He's got to wear that American flag shirt.
I mean, that by itself is worth $9.99.
Well,
if you ask me.
It's on a Saturday, so it'll be this Saturday. So we'll have to see what he's doing, what he's up to.
Maybe people are behind it 100%.
Oh, he just said, I'm in. Let's go.
Let's go!
Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Sideline reporter.
South Range, I will let you know from the stats. I got the stats from Brian. I'll pull it up. But South Range won the weekend with the most views. I will not win this week if Jeff Bezos is on the sideline. I would be willing to bet. Be willing to bet.
I'm
all right.
typing him in right now.
I can't wait. And I think we have to work through the three-man teams now, since we can do some of that stuff. So if there's people out there that want to be sideline reporters, we have the ability to get you in. So, and it's not that difficult. So hopefully some of these guys want to get some three-man. To me, I mean, I fought it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I fought it tooth and nail because I didn't think we needed it until I saw it in action with on Friday night with with Richie and Gary, and then having Ack on Saturday night. It was cool. I'm not going to lie to you. It was really, really neat. So I'm all in favor of it. So if it helps the broadcast, if it helps people appreciate the broadcast a little more, and maybe give Billy a break and to get a swig of water or whatever, because we know how much
cool to
Quinn
try
talks.
new stuff too. You know what I mean? Like it's always cool to just. It's almost like we're feeling it out. We're still trying to give the best, broadcast that we can. We're still figuring out some of the new stuff that we can do.
Well, this time of year is easier for us, and people like roll their eyes at me, but
there's not 30 games.
Yeah, I mean we're stretched, and people don't realize how thin. And Paul, because you're the one doing it, how thin we're stretched throughout the season. But whenever we get to playoffs, even if we lose 5 teams, we can do stuff with those 5 guys.
It's a funnel. It just all of a sudden it gets clogged at the end, and now all of a sudden, like, we've got teams that are no longer doing games because their team's out. So,
yep. And now you have people that want the level ups now and all the stuff, the fun stuff that we get to do when there's just a few teams remaining that we're looking forward to do. Hopefully we get another trip. I mean, we were in Zanesville last year, so hopefully we get another trip somewhere around that area, maybe a couple hours away that we can stay the night.
I think so. I think we'll have at least 2. For sure.
Good. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm hoping.
Probably 3 at Kennedy
like I said,
because I always forget Kennedy.
Regional semis right now, you're guaranteed to have at least 1, 2, 3, 4. In the regional semis, you're guaranteed to have at least 4 local teams there because you've got 4 games this week.
These local schools, they got hosed over and were able to persevere.
Yeah. Way to come over those obstacles, you local teams. My goodness. It's horrible.
Well, they were supposed to be fair, there were supposed to be 35 of them if you're listening to the experts. But
yeah, 35. Okay.
I mean, how many teams get into the playoffs? Like 16 times 7. I don't know. That's way beyond my math capacity. That's not enough fingers and toes.
Or 102.
Yeah, and we're supposed to be 30% of that.
Be 112.
Yeah.
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 Not good.
So 112 make it, and 35 are supposed to come from Northeast Ohio, Mahoning Valley.
Well,
okay.
Wouldn't that be times 4 because of each division? 104 times 4?
Yeah, you're right. Because of the regions.
So 4 regions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Half our teams made it, like YSN teams. Half of them. I mean, that's in itself, that's awesome. 16 teams are not.
Persevere, man. Northeast Ohio. That's what we do.
Steel City, baby. Grit City. Let's get speaking of the Steel City. I just saw everybody go, oh. I'll save it. Yeah, see? They disappear. They go bye-bye.
We can jump right into it.
Do you want to save it? Do you want to save it for Wednesday? Because we're rehashing it Wednesday. You know for a fact. Wednesday. Oh. All right, well then give me your report for the Browns. I'll give you the orange carpet treatment.
The battle of the dumpster fires. Yeah, that's what that was yesterday.
Man, the Browns. I've been right. I don't care. I'm right. And for just relax. Yes, Baker stinks. But the reason why Baker stinks is because of what he wants. This is the issue. This guy wants $40 million. Okay, like. he's not the worst quarterback in the league, but there's definitely statistics that could support he's in the bottom end of the league. I'll bring him up. It's easy. They're facts, they're stats, okay? But you're talking about a guy who wants $40 million and you're going to score 10 points against anybody in the NFL. I don't care if it's the 85 Bears. In this generation of offense, how offense is scoring points, you throw a ball down the field, you're going to get a pass interference call, okay? Baker Mayfield is not the guy, but he's not just the problem. Stefanski goes from being the coach of the year to the guy who's getting out-coached every single week.
By Mike Tomlin.
Every week he's just getting out-coached, okay? So, yes, there is issues offensively. There's issues. You could say injuries, but I'm not going to go that route just for the simple fact that nobody wants to hear about injuries, okay? For the most part, the Browns were healthy yesterday, okay? For the most part, you've seen a lot of those guys that were back outside of maybe Kareem Hunt, who, by the way, you had a running back the week before. You crowned him as the next Jim Brown. So, and he didn't really do anything, all right?
He scored a touchdown, didn't he?
He scored a touchdown on the three.
No, it wasn't him. It was Dearness Johnson that did.
Well, I thought that's who we were crowning.
That's who we were talking about.
That's who we were talking about.
We're not talking about Nick Chubb. Everybody knows Nick Chubb's the real deal. Nick Chubb's good, right? But, I mean, obviously he wasn't 100%. But either way, Baker Mayfield has got to come to a point in a game where, every quarterback and coach has this fight it out conversation like, let me run the damn offense. Let me take over. Let me be the guy you want me to be. And he just doesn't have it in him. Now, I will say, and there was spectators. When Baker got hit out of bounds, which was probably a late hit, but no call, no problem. I don't have any problem with it. He got up and was like, let's go. And I'm like, all right, I can respect that. I can get behind that. But then he didn't do anything. Now, he didn't do anything after that. I
said the same thing. When he went out, he did that, I said, well, if you're going to get that pumped up, please at least now do something.
And that same drive was not his fault, which always seems to be the issue, right? And this is why the Baker Mayfield cronies get to come out here and say, well, it's not his. Yes, there's bad things that happen to him. Like, you'll have a tipped interception or a drop pass or a Landry fumble or a Landry drop pass or whatever, or a running back fumble or Nick Chubb fumbles twice. Things happen, but great quarterbacks overcome those things. And that's kind of been my point all year about Baker is great quarterbacks overcome those type of adversities and say, get on, let's go. We're going down the field. Okay. And I just don't see it out of Baker. I don't see it. That's a game where Baker Mayfield pulls it out. As bad as the offense looked, great quarterbacks find a way to win that game just the same way as Ben Roethlisberger did to his team.
What's a great quarterback supposed to do if their receivers are dropping everything?
Now, let me ask you this.
I'll give you a
So,
I was going to give you a stat.
Were they drops? There were a couple drops, but there were some bad passes that receivers
here's
went
my
up.
version. If a ball hits both the receivers in the hands, I don't care who threw it, how they threw it. If it hits them in the hands, that should be a catch, period. Here's a stat. So Baker Mayfield was 65% yesterday in his completion.
I saw
All
this.
Right? If you take away the drops, he's 87%. He goes 27 for 31. And I'll tell you right now, man, if freaking Landry pulls that in at the fourth down, that catch, it's there. All he has to do is catch it. They have a first down. Who knows what happens after that? So, yeah, I mean, Baker might not be perfect, but I'll tell you right now, man, Landry right now, the thing is with these guys with Cleveland right now is these injuries are kind of like overshadowing a lot of things because, they're playing hurt. Baker should not have played yesterday. He should not have played in that game.
And
I don't care what anybody says.
Lost.
I think the Steelers would have definitely lost if you let Case get in there instead of him. You got Landry playing it hurt. I don't care what anybody says. He's hurt. Odell Beckham Jr. is, in my opinion, is trash. I think he's straight up garbage. I think they would be so much better off without him, period. So, yes, Baker's not perfect, but Cleveland is shooting themselves in the foot all over the place from coaching all the way down.
I think the fumble was the biggest thing that hurt them. That fumble was bad.
Yeah.
They don't fumble the ball there. They score. I think they win that game. But
probably
I heard too.
Goal. There's 7 minutes left at that point, and then who knows, right? But here's the problem that I have with Baker Mayfield, or not with Baker Mayfield, with Odell. Okay, Odell, I don't think anybody will say is a great talent. Okay, and most coaches, when they have great talent, they draw up plays to create that guy into space. there's no offensive plays ran for any of their wide receivers outside of Landry, which is an end around, which is like, I've said it a couple weeks, like, hey, get Odell involved in some point or get these guys in space. No, I mean, these guys are great athletes, and in space they can cause problems. Like, you would think Odell was drafted by the Browns and we signed him to this ridiculous contract. No, we traded for this guy. We said, hey, we want you. Nobody else wanted you. We want you. We gave up some stuff for you. And then ever since then, we haven't done anything with him. We haven't designed any plays. It's all about zone and backside cuts for running backs. It's like we went and got this guy. We don't even know how to drive the Ferrari.
So something you said last week struck me, and I wanted to make it a focus for me watching the game yesterday, was you said that Baker doesn't like OBJ and vice versa. And I saw it, and it was clear as day, and I'll bet you can guess the exact play that I'm going to speak of. Is going down the field. The Browns had all the momentum. They throw. I mean, OBJ is wide open.
Oh, he tried to kill him.
He tried to murder his receiver.
Yes.
By overthrowing him because there was either a DB behind him and a safety coming the other side. And I saw the screenshot of OBJ, and somebody's criticizing because he's trying to make a one-handed catch. Like, my guy's playing hurt, and like it or not, he's out there. He's going through it. He's going to take a pop, and he's just covering up because he knows he's going to get hit trying to pull that in one-handed. Those guys, Billy, you hit the nail on the head. They don't like each other. So they just need to move on one way or the other.
And it's not even like I think Odell, from coming from where he was super outspoken, he would talk a lot of smack about, Eli Manning. He came over here. For the most part, at least for the last 2 years, you haven't heard about throw me the ball, I need the football. Like, people have asked him, he's like, of course I want the ball. I'm a football player. I'm an athlete. I'm a competitor. I want the ball. And like, you would expect any athlete who is in a position to get the ball, want the ball, right? Otherwise, what are they doing out there? But on that play alone, which was so weird to me, it was a bad read by Baker. You had Chief come underneath on a dig route who was completely wide open, but yet you threw in a double coverage. So like, it's almost like it's like he teases us as Baker as it goes, look, I do throw it to him, and then he's got double coverage, but that wasn't even the right read either way. I have a problem with the coaching. I think the coaching is starting to become my biggest issue. Is Stefanski is getting outcoached every single week. The offense is starting to go down in a fast-paced motion. They can't seem to run the football as effective as they want. You could say that's a little bit about injuries, but outside of the Denver game, which we all know Denver stinks. Like, come on, Denver stinks. But now you're starting to get to our divisional games, and you're going to have to run the same plays. You're going to have to play these guys twice. They're going to have a lot of film on you now because we play divisional games later in the year now. It's going to be a lot harder to run the football. Baker's going to have to start to throw the ball, and he just can't throw guys open. Great quarterbacks throw guys open. Baker has to run a scheme to get a guy open.
You can't take anything away from Hayward and Watt either. Those two were unbelievable.
They're great. They're great.
I mean,
players.
just they basically I'm going to say they both of them single-handedly won that game for Pittsburgh. In my opinion. I think they did. With that defense, Hayward was all over the place. I couldn't believe how much he was involved.
And I'll say this, and I've heard this a lot. Like, somebody said, "Oh, you won your Super Bowl yesterday." No, we understand what and this isn't a knock on Cleveland. We understand what a Super Bowl is. We are a slightly better team than you were yesterday. But the real advantage that I saw yesterday, that for some reason, Coach of the Year, crowned his ass last year, Stefanski didn't figure out, was we didn't have a kicker. Every time you have a chance to go for 3 and get 3 points, that's 3 points we can't get. Like, we've got to score 6. Every time. Every time.
We were in positions to kick field goals, and we decided to go for it.
I said that yesterday. I was sitting there, and it was 15-10, and they took that timeout on that 4th down play.
Yep.
And I said, they have 3 timeouts. I was like, if this is me as a coach, I kick the field goal right now because you're under. I think they were under 2 minutes. I was like, you kick the field goal. Now it's 15-13. Force a 3 and out. You're going to get the ball back with 40-some seconds, whatever. Now all you got to do is get in field goal range, and you win the game. With field goal range with 40-some seconds left, as long as you don't stop, as long as you don't give them a first down, obviously your defense has got to come up. But you go down there and you kick a game-winning field goal, and they go for a 4th and 12 or whatever it was, and what was it? It was a little dump pass to a guy over to the right.
It was 3rd and 12. They ran that little stupid screen.
And I'm like, I was sitting there, I was like, listen, I might have been a coach that got fired pretty quick, but my decision would have been put some points on the board with all 3 timeouts in your pocket. Hey, defense, go get me the ball back. Don't let him hit a first down. But it didn't matter because they tried to stop him, and that 18 took that inside slant and frickin' ran all the way down to the 4. And I'm like, well, that real good job there, guys. You have one job to do, and you couldn't even do that. So
yeah, defensively for the Browns, there's just so much inexperience and youth on that team. Like, they're going to be good at some point. The problem is if they're going to lose a bunch of games getting to that point.
Bro, here's the bad part about this is once the Steelers figured out that everybody, and I mean everybody, bid on play action, it was over. It was done. Once it was, and you could hear Tony Romo kind of figuring it out too in the booth, is once you heard him say play action, play action, play action. Like, everybody on the Browns bit, and it just opened up Claypool, and I mean, everybody saw that the game winner was Deontay Johnson over the middle for 53 yards, and the idiot still almost ran out of bounds to stop the clock. You had Claypool behind him yelling, "Get down, get down, get down, get down." But listen, at the end of the day, I don't think it was a garbage game. I thought it was probably the most entertaining game of the day until the Minnesota game. But man, I couldn't get that Baker shot up. I'm sitting there on my computer waiting for a shot of Baker Mayfield on the bench. That's all I was waiting for, because for 10 months I've seen pictures of Ben Roethlisberger crying, and I'm sick of it. 10 months, be done. Be done.
I appreciate what Ben said after the game. I don't know if you heard it. He says you should appreciate every win when you come in here. It is hard to win in Cleveland, and he said some cool things. So I got a little respect for that. And I think he does. You get to a point where you beat up somebody for so long that when you take a whooping, like, it hurts. It gets to you a little bit, and it does you start to appreciate. Plus, he's at the tail end of his career, so like just winning football games in general, I'm sure he takes a little bit more heavy now than ever before. So I can appreciate what he said. I think for me, like, just to recap the whole Browns thing, is I'm glad that the game was as physical as it was. And it just kind of shows me, like, maybe this rivalry will pick up. Maybe it won't go away after Ben too. So that's cool.
I'm interested, because Ben looked like a guy that was his last ride in Cleveland, and especially after the game. So I'm more convinced now than ever that this is his final year. And I hate to be that guy that really starts getting excited about this team, because I'm not sure who they are. But with the Titans losing Derrick Henry for 10 weeks, with all the injuries we're starting to see pile up, and things are starting to stack up for the Steelers. If they can win against the Bengals, if they can win against, you don't know.
The AFC is wide open. The NFC, that's a different world over there. But the AFC is wide open.
The Chiefs are not the team we thought they would be.
We went from the beginning of the year to crowning them Super Bowl champs, and then now we're literally talking about them possibly not making the playoffs. It just sounds crazy.
I will say this, though, in case you didn't hear it yet, Von Miller is a Ram. And dear Lord.
And the Raiders are the best team in the AFC. They're the best team in the AFC right now.
And I'm not sold on that. And I'm sorry, Paul. It's not because of you.
That's how wide open it is.
Yeah,
it's
I'm just that's an anomaly.
I'll take it.
Ben's reaction on the field after. Yep, I agree. All right, let's get to the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Here it is. It's the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our friends over at Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, anything residential, anything electrical, you go to the official electrical sponsor of your sports network. Head over to DickeyElectric.com. Quincy!
Positive spark. Great weekend, but shout out to Dad. He saved all the good candy. Didn't give them out to the kids. So that's sitting at home for me.
Very nice.
I didn't do it. My dad did.
Now I understand. I understand how you work now. So, positive spark. Well, I went and did a thing this weekend. I got engaged to Kate Kelly. So, hurrah for Kate and me.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, buddy. We're all proud of you. What's weird was I was sitting there, I'm like, why is Billy missing like 3 days in a row in the Power Hour? He never does that. And
so
then
I basically did it in the middle of the day because she had off on Friday. So it was kind of like, and nobody knew. It was just, I got to go do this thing. And I was pretty quiet on Friday.
we're all incredibly happy for you, man. When I saw it pop up, I immediately smiled. So on behalf of everybody at YSN, congratulations, Mr. Kelly. We appreciate it.
No.
It just sounds better. We'll start calling him BK.
Billy Kelly.
No.
Rob.
Positive. Great weekend. Our street is actually probably one of the most famous streets in Charlotte now for trick-or-treating. And my buddy Scott and my neighbor Carl, giving people nightmares for years. It's probably one of the better environments I've ever seen for Halloween. And we just had a blast. Barb killed it with her Halloween party. It was unbelievable. Just an awesome day. So that's my positive spark.
Very good. Paul?
Yeah, mine was it was a busy weekend this weekend with the girls. Avery was able to go to her banquet and get her trophy for cheerleading, and then we went trick-or-treating yesterday, and she had a blast. Liv's kind of maybe gotten to that age where she's like, I'm okay right now, but I'm so glad Avery's doing it because I need my dad tax candy, so I got my little stash at home as well. So it was nice. And then, obviously, Billy, having his big day. So, it was a nice weekend for a lot of people. So.
Yeah. Again, I think everybody had a good weekend, and I love hearing that. Ours, mine was tough because it was the first trick or treat for the little guy, and he dressed up as Spider-Man, and I was going to miss it on Saturday because we were doing a game. And I say luckily, kind of tongue in cheek, because I know Sarah was so mad about it getting canceled, but they canceled Trick or Treat on Saturday and moved it to Sunday. I was able to go with them. We hit up a couple houses. We did tried to hit up the Sigler house, but apparently nobody was home, even after we told him we were coming. So thanks a lot, Uncle Siggy. Appreciate that. You ruined
Not even candy on the porch?
No, he told me to come over. He even told me to come over. We sat there. I had him all pumped up. He rang the doorbell by himself, and the Sigler crew did not come out. So now he hates trick-or-treat like I do. So there's that info. But also
get him dirty.
Over the week, over the month, I should say, we've been having really good traffic to our website, and for good reason. We're putting out a ton of content, good content, shows like the Power Hour, shows like Running Point, the Casual Sports Podcast, and of course what we have going on, ysnlive.com all the time. But guys, when it added up over the course of the month, 1.25 million views. So round that up, it's 1.3. Listen, that is the biggest month we've ever had. We owe it all to the people. That's why it's your sports network. And I know people get, okay. No, it truly is. And it's starting to sink in with people. We have people coming to us saying, hey, will you do this game for us? Will you do that? And it doesn't matter the cost. Like we say, it costs this much to do a game. That's fine. We love what you do. Go do it. And we can't thank you enough, because that stuff is what makes us, and makes us able to do some more things. So if you like what we do, we appreciate you. Keep watching the network. That's how we're able to get money, and especially sponsors like these ones up here in the corner, right by my fat head. That is how these people appreciate what we do and pay the bills for us. So thank you so much. I was so excited. I kept texting you guys like, hey, the numbers are going up. They're going up. They're going up. They're going. Can we get to 1 million? Can we get to 1 million? And then we get past 1 million. So thank you guys for constantly, bringing everything you have each and every day here on this show, in the booth, and everywhere else. Obviously, we couldn't do it without you, but we couldn't do it without everybody out there. So thank you so much. Made our weekend, made our month. That is my spark. Brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. Oh, here we go. No, not low, Sigler. You owe the kid candy, and he knows it now.
Full-size bars now.
Yeah.
Step it up.
I'm trying to convince my cousin to get Marlington into YSN.
The Dukes.
We'll take it. We will take it. Thanks, Mr. Moser. Appreciate it. And that's it. That's going to do it for our show. Thanks to Paul. Thanks to Rob. Thanks to I'll call you Billy. I was going to say Mr. Kelly again. I'll get off your back about that. And thanks to Quinn for a great show. We thank everybody for tuning in. That is going to do it for our show. Tune in tomorrow for another great edition of the YSN Power Hour.